Good morning, everyone. Well, I've got a few gardening jobs this morning. I've been in the garden a few hours, so I thought I'd just take a short little clip. This is actually a garlic. So I put a piece of garlic in, a little clove, and it's rooted. And it didn't take very long actually. I think it took a few days, about 3-4 days. And I've decided to move it, and I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna put it into the garden, and I'll just put it a little bit deeper. I like to put them about 4 inch, so a good 3-4 inch, and that's what I like to do with most things, garlic wise. So I'm just going to move it out of this tray and find a spot, and then just leave it and see what happens to it in a month or two. So it should, if chickens don't scratch it up or bite the top off it, it should be okay. So let me just show you. So that's it, look. That's a nice little piece of garlic, and I actually took the skin off this one. I left the inner skin on it. Sorry, I took the outer and I took the inner skin off it. So, either way, they should be okay. And like I said, I like to plant them about 4 inch under. And it's in soil. It's fairly good soil. It's not the best soil. So I'm actually just going to move it, and it's in a little bit better soil. And I want to just put it in garden here, and I'm going to leave it for a couple of days, a week, see what it looks like. And if it's doing okay, and there's no chickens that's pecking it and eating it and pulling it and scratching it, I might just put about 5 or 6 more in, just put a full clove in, and then just leave them, and then, got a bit of garlic, and then next will be onions, if I can get my hands on some onions. That's why I only put one clove in, because, I would like to put about 10 different cloves in, but I thought I'd just put one in because it's not really expensive, but for us it's expensive. So that's what I'm doing. Look, I'm putting an handful of leaves on the left hand side, and then on the other side of the leaves I'm going to put the garlic. So that's the garlic bulb going in, clove, whatever you like to call it, and then I'm just going to fill it in and crush some leaves on it. Then I'm actually going to give it some fertiliser. Looks like we have a snail. I'll go out and discard of him in a moment. So can you believe it? Just a big snail, and he's under on the fence there. Robin Slide, absolutely lovely. From with the rice, absolutely. Please like, please subscribe. Right guys, good afternoon. Don't you get too close to that carabao, cause she's quite fast. Right, so that's one of the carabaos, look. Looks like she's in the rice field, and it looks like they're actually cropping. So, how nice is that? Cropping the rice. Alright. Like the carabaos are in the field. Right guys, you can see we've had some lovely rain, lot of lovely rain, and the guys are actually here in the rice field. So they're here in the rice field, and hopefully, just having a look what that is, and hopefully they get a really good crop. So they're here in the rice field this afternoon, well this morning actually. So like I said, I'm sure they're going to get a really good crop, and I can see they've got quite a few bags. So how nice is that? Absolutely lovely. Hard work here in the rice fields. So that's it. Work continues. I'm sure they'll get quite a good few crops off this rice. You know, because we're in rainy season and we've got quite a lot of rain, which is quite nice. You know, quite nice that they're going to actually get a good crop. So absolutely lovely. So the dogs are sniffing around, and I've told them don't get too close to the carabaos, but they don't listen. See. Right, so we'll go back to the house. And I'm collecting a few sticks, so I'll show you what I'm actually doing. So, looks like someone's left his bag. They wouldn't do that in England, would they? It'd be gone. So, you know, they can leave the motorbikes here with the keys in, the carabaos, all the tackle, and 99 times out of 100, it'll always be there. Right. Go on falling. Right, I've got my saw. They're not a very good saw, these. So I'll show you what I'm actually doing. Example. So you see this lovely branch. It's stuck really out onto the road. So what I do is I trim them back. You know, I'll go to a node here, look. Ah, it's gone. I'll go to a node here. See, there's a node there, look. So I come off that node and I'll just snap. I'll just snap the branch. Then I've got a nice branch to prop my plants up, keep the chickens off the plants, and I've got me fertiliser so I can make some tea. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just collecting a few sticks to keep the chickens off the plants. Right guys, so I hope everyone's fine and having a great day. See, that's already been snapped off or cut off, and it looks like they've cut it from that branch there, look. And for the carabaos to get down and, you know, lay down in the wet, in the damp, you know, in the damp rice field, like to lay in the water. So I'm going to take this branch and I'm going to take that little branch. So you can see I've just snapped them off, and these are already been chopped off or cut off. It's a piece of sugar cane, they're cropping the sugar cane now. So I'm going to take these branches and I'll make good use of them. So, you know, not so much work. So that's what I'm doing this morning. It's this afternoon now, it's just past 12. You know, I'm going to use that to stick in, stop the chickens. And like I said, got a lovely bit of compost, so you can't go wrong. Compost tea, so that's my tea for my plants. And like I said, we've got a lot of chickens now, just scraping and pulling the plants up. So I need to stop them really. You can see what I've managed to collect. Like I said, they were already cut and just thrown at the side of the road. So I'm taking them, and these are what I've cut. So I've got a good few branches. Afternoon, so I've got no need to work or chop at them. So that's it, look. Lots of lovely branches, and it'll make a good little bit of compost. So looks like everyone's, you know, either going to work or finishing work. Right, so that's it. Absolutely lovely. I've got a few branches. Like I said, every time I look out of the window, chickens are going at it. Got a few snails, and I'm actually, you know, as soon as you put some plants in, that's it, they've gone. So I'm going to have to, like I said, protect them. So I'll head back to the house, and I've got plenty now. I only come out for a few sticks, and I noticed the guys were actually doing a crop of rice, and they've cut a few branches, which is absolutely, you know, they've got machetes which are really sharp, and they just chop through a branch, no problem at all. That's all I've got. It's a 10-minute job to saw a thin branch. Right, looks like motorbikes are coming down, so I'll actually wait till they've gone, then I'll just be on my way, about 4 of them with lights on. Look. So let me just move some of these. Right, they can get round there. So I don't know who these guys are, so I might as well video them. Should do it. Afternoon. They're just guys from the province, or guys from, you know, they're in the province, or they're working here. Right, that's it. Got them back. So I'll get in the shade over there and start to cut them. Job's, you know, like I said, job's a good one. Right guys, so that's what I'm doing, look. Just going to put these sticks to one side. I'm actually going to put these, thin them out and put them on top of here, because you can see, look. I'll put that to stop the chickens digging all the garden up. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, just cut all these into lengths, and then hopefully I can put some on top of there and it stops all the chickens. Now this, I found this the other day when I was looking at the plants, and it were on the floor and it's been snapped. So what I actually did with it is, just pull it up, and it were rotten at bottom there. So it were rotten. I can see there's 1 or 2 roots on it. So I'm just going to leave it in some good water that's got some tea in it, leaf tea. And then what I'm actually going to do is replant it. When I see these leaves have started to grow and they're looking perky, I give it 2 or 3 days and then I put it back in. But it had rotten at bottom there, it had been snapped, and then it had rotten off. So, you know, I cut it actually at the bottom, cut a big lump on it off, and I thought, well, it's a good plant, so I'm not going to throw it away. You know, it'll make a really good plant. So we'll leave it for a couple of days in some water with some tea, leaf tea. So it should be okay. And it's a nice leaf, so I'm going to reuse it. I'll try and find a space for it. And that's it now. I've just got, you know, I'm growing that many plants. I've just got no space for them whatsoever. Right guys, so that's me bunch of leaves, and I've got all my stakes there, look. So, you know, I can actually start to peg some of my plants out. We've got one at chicks out. I'll sit here and I'll actually do a video of these little chicks. So yeah, you know, I always do it. So I always manage it, look. Always manage it. And that's where it so's gone in. So it's a quick bush, you know, bang, whatever you want to call it. So I always manage to do it. So I've got a good few stakes, and I've got 1 or 2 branches. It's very humid today, so I've got 1 or 2 branches I actually want to go and collect. And then when I've collected the branches, I'm going to put them on this bed to stop the pesty chicks. And this morning, they're a big black native chicken. She's got 3 chicks. I'm sure they'll start to disappear, you know, the chicks, because they're lucky if they've got 1 or 2 chicks here. And she was digging all the garden up. Then she went in my plants and started digging all my plants. So I threw some stones at her, and she weren't going to move. And I thought I'd better put some stakes up around some of these plants. Oh, chickens are just going to rip them to pieces. And they've got chicks, so you know they're always scratching up for chicks. So that's what I've been doing late this morning into this afternoon. just cut in, you know, a few branches, a few stakes. So that's what I'm going to do. Went to Mercia yesterday. Oh, and before I finish, you know, thanks to everyone that sent support. You know, I tried to actually message you on PayPal, and I can't, for some reason, I cannot always send a message on PayPal. But you know, it's just a thank you very much. God bless, very much appreciated. You know, that puncture really did hammer us. So everyone that actually does support, you know, whether it's a thumbs up or whether it's with $1, you know, thank you very much, lifesaver. So God bless, guys. You know, please give me a thumbs up. It's going to help my channel according to analytics. You know, so thanks a lot. And my channel is not getting pushed. What it is, they will not actually push my channel. So all people that do subscribe, they just find the channel somehow, whether it's with shorts, long form video, they find the channel, and some subscribe. I've got thousands and thousands that's not subscribing. So if you watch the channel, please subscribe. From day one, you know, this has always been the case. People are not subscribing, but YouTube will not push my videos till I'm monetized. And I am monetized. Got to go back to England to sort my monetization out. Then YouTube will actually push my videos, and I think they'll just skyrocket. So, you know, if you do watch the videos, very, very much appreciated, guys. If you actually subscribe, give me a thumbs up, make a comment. Whether it's a good one or a bad one, we actually love it. Right, so, you know, take care. I'm just going to potter around the garden. Like I said, really humid. And before I actually do, you know, finish as I normally say, wow, it did it. The typhoons hit the Philippines very bad. Crossed to China, or come from China and crossed to the Philippines, whichever it was. And it has devastated. Here we got torrential rain for about 3 or 4 days. We got one night and it was very windy, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really, really bad. But we were okay here. So we weren't too bad here whatsoever. But, you know, this typhoon, wow. It's done a lot of damage. It was a super typhoon. 379 kilometres an hour, about 170, 180 mile an hour winds, ripping houses apart, just twisting trees, you know, just twisting them and snapping them off. So really horrific. You know, super typhoon that hit the Philippines. So like I said, God bless everyone. Thanks for the support, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please share the videos, and please follow along. Make a comment. You know, that's how we learn, and it's always good to hear, you know, some of the things that you guys are doing. To de-snail, just put a nice bit of fruit, porridge oats, put them on garden on your lawn under a plant. It'll get rid of all your slugs and snails. I'll tell you why in a later video. Looks like there's another dog. Right, so what I'm actually going to do, look. See, these plants, that chicken, that native chicken was scratching all this up. And I'm going to protect some of these plants now. These are looking nice. So I'm going to, this is a new one I put in. I've only got one of those left. And that's come from a seed. I put that in about 4 months ago, and it's seeded. So it was a seed. So I'm going to protect them. So that's going to go. It's going to go in there. And then I'm going to put another one there, just to make sure that's protected. And then I'm going to put one at the back there to make sure that's protected. So that's your chickens. So, you know, they just scratch everything to pieces. So that's what I'm actually going to do now, guys. Just crack on with some of these stakes and just peg, stop the chickens ripping the plants. And she were in there, that chicken. Then she went in there and she was pulling everything to pieces. I thought, right, it looks like I need to actually go and get some stakes and stake these flowers. Chicken protection. Guys, I've been in the garden about, same, 4 or 5 hours. And what I've actually done is I've took all these planters, all the plants, shrubs, flowers out of these planters. I want to use these planters, and I don't know what I'm doing with that yet, not decided. So that's look, so that's you can see what those orange ones are, and you can see what that one is. It's all this. So it looks a bit bare at the moment, but when it rains, won't be long, a week or two, and that should be quite full. And you can see I put a lot of these stakes in, stop dogs, and also the pesty chickens, and it's looking okay. So that's it, look. So that's what I've been doing this morning, 11:30 up to now, which is knocking on about 4 o'clock. I always say a couple of hours, but I'm always in here, always doing something. I've put some more seeds in here, so I have actually put some more seeds, and I've actually put some more runner beans. Even though they've been hit by snails, they might recover, but if they don't recover, it doesn't matter, because I've put one in here, and I've staked it, stopped the chickens. So there's about 3 or 4 seeds in there, at least 2 good seeds, 3 seeds in there. So, you know, like I said, because they've got snail damage, it don't really make a big difference, because, you know, I've got seeds in as well, so it's no problem. Now the problem is, where do I put all these plants? There's a plant there, and it's that one there, look, see? That one with the orange leaf. And I show you, so they grow big, so I've got to try and find a spot. I might put them over there. So that's them, look. See these big orange ones? Not those red ones, these. So I've got to find a spot. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've had enough, more or less, and I'm going to try and find a spot. Very humid, very hot. I'm going to try and find a spot now for these plants. I ain't got a clue where they're going. I've just got no room whatsoever. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, so it's a good afternoon from Murcia Negros Occidental. Right, I'm going to move this. I don't know what I'm doing with these. Okay. Please like and subscribe. Please share the videos. Please help support. Have a great day. Take care, everyone. Like I said, thanks for the great comments.